Hi, welcome to this quick tutorial on how to delineate multiple watersheds using a DEM. This is sort of a continuation to the tutorial which I have already prepared, which I will put the link down in the description below. If you would like to know the steps in delineating a watershed in detail, I suggest you to check that tutorial out. But in this tutorial, I'm just going to go quite quickly over the steps and focus on the main part, which is how to actually delineate multiple watersheds just in one time instead of doing the steps in a repetitive manner. So let's get started. As you can see, I have imported the DEM already. And the next step would be to go to the Arc toolbox and go to Spatial Analyst Tools. Go to hydrology and fill the DEM. So you just drag this DEM and drop it over here, and the output surface raster, I'm just going to name this as fill DEM and click OK. Alright, now we have the fill DEM, and the next step is to generate the flow direction raster. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on flow direction, and as the input surface raster for this flow direction step, I'm going to drag and drop the filled DEM. And the flow direction raster, I'm going to name that as flow dir. Alright, now we have the flow direction raster as well, and the third step would be to get the flow accumulation raster. So go ahead and double click on flow accumulation and put the flow direction raster as the input raster for this step. And I'm going to name this as flow accumulation. Okay, now you can see that we have already gotten our flow accumulation raster. I'm just going to make a few changes in the classifications over here. I'll go to symbology, and instead of using a stretch method, I'm using a classified method, and the number of classes, I'm going to reduce it to 2. And in the detail classification option, I'm going to put 25,000 over here, just for the sake of isolating the low accumulations in black color and letting the program show us high accumulations in white color. And click on apply. Okay. Alright, now you can more or less clearly see the river network. Now for this tutorial, I'm just going to create multiple watersheds in locations where I see that as outlets of subreaches. For example, this small tributary is created by its own subcatchment, and the same goes for this small river as well. So I'm going to somehow delineate a multiple number of catchments, subcatchments, using a method which I'm going to explain to you right now. So in order to do that, first you have to create a new shapefile which specifies the outlet of each subreach. For example, if you are interested in getting the catchment corresponding to this tributary, you have to specify the outlet at somewhere over here, just before it reaches the main river. And the same goes for the other branches as well. Similarly, if you're interested in getting the corresponding subcatchment for this particular river branch, you have to specify your outlet point somewhere over here, just before it reaches the main river. So I'm going to create a new shapefile, a point shapefile, and create multiple outlets which I'm going to use for the delineation of the multiple watersheds. So first, let's go to my folder where I'm going to save the shapefiles. Right click, new shapefile. This one I'm going to name that as subcatchments point, and my coordinate system is WGS 1984. Click OK. Now go to editor, start editing, click on subcatchments, click OK. Go to editor again, editing windows, and create features. just going to go ahead and get rid of this catalog panel and click on the subcatchments over here, and under the construction tools click on point. So now I'm going to zoom in and create a few points at the outlets of those sub-reaches, the tributaries. So I'm going to create one point over here, and let's create the subcatchment corresponding to this river branch as well. So I'm going to specify the pour point at the outlet over here, and I'm going to do the same for this river, and for this river as well. Okay, I think 4 subcatchments would be enough just for the demonstrating purpose for this tutorial. So after that, you go to editor and stop editing and save your edits. And now we are going to do one of the most important things in this tutorial, that is going to the attributes table of this shapefile which we just created, and we have to specify a new column and give unique IDs for each of these points. We have right now 4 points which are going to be correspondent to the 4 subcatchments that we are going to delineate, but as you can see, the ID over here, it's the same ID, but we need to have actually unique IDs in order to get different subcatchments generated when we run the algorithm. So we go to add field over here and create a new column called subcat ID, and we leave the type as short integer. Okay, it's saying that my name is a bit too long, so I'm just going to agree. And now we go to editor and start editing, and again click on subcatchments, just because we are not allowed to edit these spaces over here, so we have to be in the editor mode in order to do the editing. So select subcatchments and click OK, and now for each point I'm going to give a unique value, just 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, now I'm going to stop my edits and save the edits. Okay, now you can see that each pour point is actually represented by different subcatchment IDs. Alright, you can close this one now and go to Arc Toolbox again, and now we go with the watershed option. Click on watershed, and as the first input raster, we are supposed to input the flow direction raster. So I'm just going to drag this one and drop it over here. And here, input raster or feature pour point data. So we already created the pour point data, and our points are actually the outlets of the catchments. So I'm just going to go ahead and drag this one and drop it over here. And here in the pour point field, you have to make sure that you select the column that you created, which contains the unique ID numbers. Okay. After that, you go to environments over here and go to processing extent and select the extent to be the same as the flow direction raster. Okay. And now you can click OK. Alright, now you can see we successfully generated 4 subcatchments, which corresponds to those four river branches, the sub branches. And normally what we do now is, in case if you need to do any further analysis on these subcatchments, you need to export these subcatchments into a polygon, because right now it's in a raster format. So we just go ahead over here and search raster to polygon, and you can see the first option is actually to convert the raster into a polygon. So I'm going to drag this watershed flow raster and simplify the polygons as well. Check this box and click OK. Alright, now you can see that we successfully created 4 different polygons. Now if you want to do any further analysis, you can actually proceed with that now. So that's about it for this tutorial. Thank you very much for watching, and if you have any further questions, just comment them down below. Thank you.